Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is January 2nd, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. And by the way, if you didn't know, I'm still in Mountain View, Hawaii here for one more day. It's on the Hilo side, windward side of the Big Island. And I'll be back tomorrow doing my normal briefings in my studio at home. But taking a look here at the mid-level water vapor loop, you can see our next system here spinning up, developing off the coastline here. It's going to be moving through here over the next couple of days. We'll go over those details and we'll take a look at the extended forecast. Got some interesting offshore wind potential here as we go in, take a look at that extended forecast as well. We'll take a look at that and the weather models coming up, and we'll see what is yet to come and see if we have any chance for any precipitation across Southern California and more for Northern California here incoming as we go on in through the next couple of days. And if we take a look at what I was doing the last couple of days, this is actually yesterday morning. Some of these were flying about 58%. I calculated up the wall there. I'm not sure the exact height of that. I've heard between 400 and 600 feet, but that would make this, up over 240 feet. Pretty vigorous fountain yesterday, put it on quite the show. Then I went back for the afternoon hours, and this is about 60% up there as well. So yeah, still ongoing. And yeah, it's been, today is day 8 of just kind of gradual increases there. So a spectacular show, timed up nicely with my vacation out here. Now, taking a look at what's going on here as we go through tonight and through Friday, see the snow levels starting and then lowering. Look at that, 4,500 to 5,500 feet by late Friday afternoon. See the heavier rainfall across the higher terrain in Northern California. Of course, lesser amounts for some of the valley areas, but Sacramento could still sneak an inch out of this. San Francisco, half an inch. Modesto, quarter inch. Merced, quarter inch as well. South Lake Tahoe, maybe up towards an inch also. Now, take a look at snowfall forecast for tomorrow. Look at Donner Peak 4 to 6, so be careful for that. Chain controls and road closures, some moderate impacts there, and again, lowering there as the precipitation tapers off as we go through the day Friday. There's also a chance for thunderstorms Friday as well. Valleys, foothills, and again, typical thunderstorm activity here. This, of course, is for tomorrow, January 3rd. Reno also talking about the impacts here for this somewhat quick-hitting storm. Some maximum wind gusts there, east slopes of the Sierra Nevada. And that's the snow totals there that we saw also on the Sacramento National Weather Service graphic. They issued this yesterday, but still applies. Now, we also have some energetic wave activity moving in here. You can see 20 to 30 foot breakers there, and this is from Friday night, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday with some of the high surf, rip current, sneaker waves, and minor coastal flooding. So this was issued here this morning by Bay Area National Weather Service. And if I show you that here, on the map here, this is a maximum individual wave height, but you can clearly see the energetic set of waves here. Or multiple sets, of course, but the energetic waves approaching the coastline as we go on in through Friday, Saturday, and we kind of keep that going here as we go on in towards the early portion of next week as well, Monday, Tuesday also, and then we might start to get a bit of a break as we go on through the later portion of next week. No promises on that though, but yeah, some pretty good wave action up and down the coastline here for the next few days on in through early next week. Now, looking at the North American model, I just want to point that out. The winds are going to be getting gusty out of the south there. Even some of the Sacramento Valley coastal areas and then the Sierra Nevada really gets ripping here as we go on in through the day tomorrow. We start to pick things up across the peninsula and the transverse range, the desert areas, pretty gusty out of the west, and it kind of turns northerly across Nevada, then eventually the desert areas as we head on in towards Saturday afternoon. And if we take a look at that, you'll see the precipitation. I'm going to back that up a little bit here. So as we go through this afternoon, we got some ongoing precipitation kind of continuing across Northern California, but that's going to continue as we go on in through tomorrow morning and swoop across some of the valley areas, the Bay areas, Sierra Nevada, and even some of the San Joaquin Valley, getting some precipitation out of this down towards the transverse range as well, but not much at all, if anything, for Los Angeles or Southern California, San Diego. And then that system will be sliding on through. Now, taking a wider look, you can see Hawaiian Islands bottom left. There is California here, right about there. And I'm looking at this morning's and yesterday afternoon's European here on the right. Put that into motion, you can see the system swooping through that we just talked about in some detail. And then another one clipping northern portions here. But then we start to dry out and get some ridging here for the west coast of North America. Some cooler air and some high pressure starts to slide down over the Great Basin. We talked about this cutoff low yesterday. Yesterday afternoon still had it, but now it's being displaced a little bit further to the east on this morning. As you can see, this would not bring many impacts to Southern California versus what we were talking about yesterday here. So already having some major difficulties here with this cutoff low. This one will be much more interesting, spreading precipitation back up across Southern California. This one probably be more realistic, keeps that precipitation across portions of Mexico. But in the meantime, when we drop this high pressure down across the region, that's really going to kick some offshore winds up, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But first, let's show you the 500 millibar temperatures here, and I kind of want to go out to the future and show you that polar lobe. You can see that kind of sliding down across California, and then that cutoff low develops there, and you can see just the subtle little difference in the position of that cutoff low will mean everything on if we can bring some precipitation back in towards the southwest, or where that's exactly going to set up. And on the flip side of that, here we go, 12Z European. So as we scroll on in through the early portion of next week, look at these winds turn offshore a little bit as we go through the weekend, but then they get really strong as we go on in towards, what is this, about Tuesday on through Wednesday. Look at some of these offshore winds all the way across Northern California, the Bay Area, Diablo winds, Santa Ana, strong northerlies down across Las Vegas, desert areas, western Arizona. Yeah, that could be a prolonged event there. I mean, look at that really peaking out there late Wednesday morning. So we're going to have to watch for that offshore wind event coming up. GFS shows something similar. And if I scroll through here and just kind of rush ahead to where I was just at, you can kind of see that high pressure building and strong pressure gradient across the state of California. A strong offshore wind event starting to look a bit more and more likely. And if I show you the GFS here as well, let's scroll out to that time period, and you can clearly see that it also shows these strong offshore winds as we go into the early and mid portion of next week. So European total precipitation in inches. I have a feeling you guys know what this is going to look like. Clips the Bay Area, some of the San Joaquin Valley, maybe a little bit for some of the Tehachapi, near Tehachapi, some of the transverse range there, northwest facing slopes. But yeah, you guessed it, not much in the way of precipitation for Southern California. You see that cutoff low now keeping things off to the south, but we'll continue to monitor that. Maybe it'll change and switch back to bringing some precipitation into Southern California. But yeah, not much. Again, just some extreme precipitation deficits going on here across some of Southern California. That looks to continue. There's day one excessive rainfall out, like day two, not too big, just marginal risk out there. But we have had a lot of precipitation, so watch out for that as this front comes through. Mud flows, rock slides, water covered roadways and things like that. Turn around, don't drown. And this is looking, I believe, the last 180 days. And if you see that, there's just been a couple tenths of an inch or so. San Diego, Los Angeles, some of the desert areas, some of the higher terrain a little bit more, but just not much rain to speak of going on 180 days now for a lot of Southern California. And this was December, very warm for the west and central portions. And again, I mentioned this yesterday, we have introduced some moderate drought here across Southern California, and that will only get worse the longer we continue to put off this precipitation. This was yesterday. In fact, let me update this here really quick just to see if this will, no, that's the same thing as yesterday, above average, below average precipitation. That pattern continues all the way on in through mid-January. Channel's doing good here. Hopefully you can click like and subscribe. Much appreciated. None of this is possible without you guys. And I should be back home tomorrow for the next briefing, and I will talk to you guys then.